Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now you can save £50. No, for £50 per person on a holiday of 4. That's £200 saving. Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the most recent terrible bookish event, and that is the Waterstones BookFest 2025. Now, if you're not familiar with Waterstones, it's basically like our version of Barnes & Noble, I would say. So like they sell books and stationery, other bits, book bits, board games, that kind of thing. Well, every year they hold an event called BookFest at Piccadilly, which is the biggest store in the UK. It's over like 6 floors. If you ever get a chance to go, I'd recommend it. So at this BookFest, there are things like author panels, there are signings, publisher stalls, quizzes, merch giveaways, and craft workshops. So it sounds like a really fun day out. I've never been myself personally. After this year's shenanigans, I don't know if I will. So let's take a look at what BookFest says on their website. So BookFest 2025 at Waterstones Piccadilly. Waterstones Piccadilly is delighted to announce BookFest 2025. Explore publisher stalls for proofs and exclusive merch giveaways, quizzes, photo booth opportunities, craft activities, and workshops. Come and meet some of your favourite authors as they join their publishers on the shop floor for signings, and will also be hosting ticketed in-conversation events. The day itself is free to attend. So obviously opened at 2, right? This is from 3 p.m. Reimagining Fairy Tales and Myths panel, 6 p.m. Secrets and Societies Fantasy panel, and then just like throughout the day, author signings. So join your favourite author at their publisher store between 2 and 3, where they'll be signing copies of their latest novels. That is not a lot of time, especially if you want to hit like 3 of those, or even just one by the sounds of it with these queues. So you'd think that this event would be ticketed, right? Or that the shop would be closed to host the event, or open early, open late. Just something to accommodate it, right? No, it's literally happening at the same time that the store is open for normal business. And this isn't new. They do this every year. It actually is open and going on just during business hours. Every year. And I guess I've never had anything go wrong until now. So all over my TikTok last week were people taking to social media to express their disappointment with BookFest. Not only the disappointment, but from some of the accounts that I've watched, it sounded fucking dangerous. Who the hell is putting on these book events? Like, first of all, we had like Million Lives BookFest, and then we've got the Waterstones BookFest. Surely these event organizers should know better. So let's take a look at the first video. This was the first one that came up for me.
I've gone to every BookFest, but the second I got to Waterstones today, I just wanted to leave. The event was set to start at 2, but the shop, Waterstones Piccadilly, opens at 10, and they don't close any portion of the shop for this event. It's free to enter, anyone can enter, and I think that's a mistake. While I understand that being the biggest Waterstones in Europe, they don't want to close portions of the shop for this event, they don't want to ticket it, they need to. And the thing is, I and other influencers who've been invited have been telling them to for 3.5 years now. This event has got more popular, and because it's got more popular, it's got busier, and it's not ticketed. This year felt dangerous being in that building because of how many people were there. BookFest is always hot. BookFest is always busy. I was mentally and physically prepared for that. But it was never, ever, ever this busy before, to the point that there were queues coming out of the shop down the stairs. I got there at 1:30, and this is how busy it was. As a reminder, the event opened at 2, but because the shop opened earlier and anyone could come in the shop, publishers were descended upon by people before they'd even set up their stalls. These queues were to go to publisher stalls and pick up their bookmarks, have a chance to win ARCs and things like that, and people were stood in these queues for more than an hour. There was no organisation to these queues either. People were pushing in, people were skipping, people didn't know where these queues started or ended because there were things on either side of the floors, so there were queues interweaving to each other for different parts of the floors. The organisation was so horrendous that booksellers and publishers and attendees all got so overwhelmed by the place. I've also heard that there were complaints and people yelling at the booksellers and at the publishers at this event, which, while Waterstones is not in control of their attendees, it's the organisation that led to people yelling at them like this, and you should not be putting the publishers you've invited to this event through that. I think it's absolutely atrocious that people who've come to work to do their jobs are being yelled at like this, largely because of the poor organisation of this event. They do not deserve that. They are so hardworking, and I applaud every member of staff and every publisher who is doing their absolute best at this event, because this was hell. These were not working conditions that you should have had to work under. But of course, I need to talk about accessibility and the distinct lack thereof. After previous BookFests, I have spoken directly to Waterstones and talk to them about accessibility and improving accessibility for this event. I've said that they need to cap the amount of people and they need to ticket it, because that would solve so many issues with how long the queues are, how loud it is, how hot it is, how overstimulating it is. As a physically disabled autistic person, I was struggling to be in that building for longer than 5 minutes. I can barely stand for longer than 10 minutes, so how the hell am I, or any other physically disabled person there, supposed to stand in a queue for over an hour? If you cap the amount of people, then the wait time of those queues goes down significantly. There also needs to be staff available who can move disabled people further ahead in these queues if they're going to exist, because we can't stand for that long. We're not capable of doing it. We need some kind of queue jumping thing, which I have said to them. With the panels, I have said that they need some kind of caption screen or BSL interpreters so that people can understand what the panels are saying when they have hearing issues or auditory processing issues. I've said that there needs to be more seating and places to sit down, places where people can take a break, take a breather, do things more chill rather than just standing in line and talking to people and being in all the noise. But everything that I've said to them, everything that other disabled creators have said to them, everything that non-disabled book talkers have said to them about how to improve this event has not been implemented. And that's how we've ended up where we are at the event that I attended today, which I think most people there would say was an absolute disaster. This event felt dangerous, it felt unorganized, it was highly inaccessible, and I was miserable.
Okay, so the event wasn't ticketed, and it's a free event, right? That's crazy. Listen, it doesn't even have to cost anything to be ticketed. It could just be free tickets, right? But they offer out a certain amount so that they aren't like at capacity. There must be a capacity, I don't know. And so the event goes smoothly, you'd think, right? I would have found that hell. It would have been too hot, too crowded. I'll show you some TikToks of the event in a moment, but the queue system was horrendous. Like Elle was saying, there were so many like different queues, like joining in at different points. It was absolute chaos. And listen, as a Brit, I love a good, neat, orderly queue. If I turn up to this, oh, I'd be pissed. So the event starts at 2 p.m, but the store opens at 10 a.m. How can none of the event organizers see this is going to be an issue? I understand they've done it every year, and it seems to have been fine. Well, I'll get to it later on, but it does turn out that in previous years, it starts at 10 when the store opens. But obviously there's been some things that need to be changed, just as Elle said, that they've been emailing time and time again about disability access, other points to improve the event, as have many other attendees. But no one's implemented a single thing. The world of books, right, or book talk, book tube, everything bookish has never been more popular than it is now. And the fact that there are loads of amazing authors there at the book signing at Waterfest, Waterstones BookFest, you can't do that at a non-ticketed event. That's madness. I would rather buy like a free ticket to get in and then pay for, not even pay for a sign, but get like a ticket for like a signing so that I know that, I don't know. Why was it so bad? I just don't understand. Also, people getting angry at the booksellers at Waterstones. I'm sorry, these people are literally earning minimum fucking wage. I mean, maybe a little bit more, it's like London waiting, so it's like a tiny bit more because it's central. But they're probably short-staffed because big businesses fucking love doing that. Having like, having an event on and not properly staffing it. Honestly, working in retail myself and doing events, they fucking love not staffing events properly. It's ridiculous. And again, working retail myself, people can be horrendous even when an event isn't on. So this must have been awful for them. Okay, let's take a look at some of the videos of the area like the event was held in and the queues. I mean, I've watched them. This has stressed me out watching it. So it might stress you out too. I don't know if this will get copyright striked, but just so you know, this is the audio. Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now you can save £50. No, for £50 per person on a holiday of 4. That's £200 saving. I don't know what it is. Anyway, that's the audio over that video.
Oh, fucking hell! Shit! This is a fucking nightmare!
We're eating like a pack of sardines and we cannot escape, we cannot come out.
Nothing beats BookFest at Waterstones, because how else do I want to spend a day off of work? Helpful staff? Who needs them? Organised? Overrated. Communication? What even is that?
So BookTok and Mia posted a video responding to a comment on their TikTok, and the comment says, I know the organisers were as stressed as everyone else, though. I don't think they expected that big of a turnout, and they were doing their best to kind of regulate, but it was just not working. And this is their response.
My thing is how do you not expect a big turnout when you are the biggest book shop branch in the UK? Waterstones alone have almost 500,000 followers on Instagram. If you add up all the publishers, Panmac, Del Rey, Penguin, Bloomsbury, Harper, altogether these people must have literally 1 million followers, if not over. How on this good green earth do you go, oh yeah, small turnout, it'll be a small turnout? Not just that, but they purposely moved the timings to 2 p.m. knowing, hey, you know, like people won't be able to come in the morning because it's a weekday and it's a work day, so let's do it in the afternoon so more people can come. Are you fucking stupid?
If it's a work day and you're putting on at 2 p.m, you know people work like not till 2 p.m, right? People work like 9 to fucking 5. So how does that make sense? Are you assuming people would take like a half day, but then they would also be able to take a half day and come in the morning, right? And then go to work?
No aircon when you are having a festival, regardless of the turnout, in summer is maddening. It was impossible to move about to the point where I saw publishers throwing totes into a crowd. The organisers themselves were not there from my knowledge. Like, I mean, to be fair, I couldn't fucking see anything in front of me. It was just a crowd. But the people I saw regulating it were the booksellers. One bookseller to like every 100 people, and there was like 1,000 people there, only on I think 3 floors this year, whereas usually they would use all of the floors apart from the main one. Free ticketed slots, guys. Please. Free ticketed slots. It's not hard to set up. It limits the amount of people that can turn up at a certain time. People were having panic attacks. They were having asthma attacks because it was so hot, because there was no aircon. I also do have to say, I think a massive part of it was also a letdown on the publisher's end. Literally 90% of what they were giving away was 50p sweets. It was 50p sweets, and bear in mind, people were queuing for 2 hours. This time exactly last year, I came back with a bag full of proofs, stickers, badges, totes, bookmarks. This year, you had to literally ask to get a sample, and you had to be like 1 of 10 because they were limited. On top of that, for some God knows what reason, they thought author signing should be on the exact same level as all the free stuff. We had one massive line that went from the top of the building to the end of the building for 4 different things, and the poor authors, I was stood for over half an hour in one of the floors. Literally, I'm not joking, there were 2 authors there, bless them. I did not see them sign a single book. And the thing is people weren't even intentionally pushing in. Second floor especially that I went on was so packed, we just had to find a place to fucking breathe. And then we ended up getting shoved into the like middle, and we couldn't get out of the middle. We weren't going to tables, we physically couldn't, but we got shoved by so many people to the point where a girl was crying. I think she was having a panic attack or something along those lines. And to the point where we were getting shoved so much, we couldn't take her out of the fucking crowd. There were parents with buggies and children, and they should be allowed to be able to move about. I heard that, and of course that made me assume that there would be issues with people with disabilities, crutches, wheelchairs, even though they have the lifts. Every time we even tried to get into a lift, there was no space because they were completely clogged up, and there's no other way for a disabled person to get up to any of these floors. Yeah, it was a mess. It was absolutely fucking awful, to be honest, and I'm really disappointed in like everyone.
Yeah, why isn't it an all-day thing? Or again, like Mia said, ticketed, free tickets. People do it on Eventbrite all the time, right? Where you have to like get a ticket, it's free, but then they know the numbers, right? The no aircon thing, right? Bigger stores do have aircon. I know this is Britain, and we have like 2 weeks of like sun and heat a year, which is, it's fucking horrible. We are not prepared for it. We hate it. But bigger stores do have aircon. Like our shops, our grocery stores have aircon. Why the fuck was the aircon not on? Again, stingy fucking businesses, probably. There are people that go every year to this event, and all of them have been baffled as to how it's so unorganised and chaotic.
And let me tell you now, it's hectic. You can probably hear all the noise. Got a pamphlet with everyone on it. I will tell you now, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It is crazy. There was a queue to even go up to level 1, so I had to like skip the queue, go up to level 2. There's a queue there. Level 3, there's a queue. The stalls aren't even open yet. Being stuck in the queue for 20 minutes, didn't get anything, so I squeezed through to get signed books that I wanted to get signed. And I'm tempted to go to finals now. It's so busy. Oh my god. Actually, there's like no way. It's not like this last year, I'll tell you that. Hello, just to help out with the sound or the chaos of the crowds, you've got voice over me. So let's talk about what went wrong that led to the disaster of Waterstones BookFest. For starters, the difference between last year and this year are, first of all, the timings. Everything started at 10 a.m. with Waterstones BookFest last year, with the panel starting at 11, you had signings at 2, so it was all spread out throughout the day. Today, everything started at 2 o'clock. The panels, the signings, the stalls. So in a way, if you were working today, like I was, you take a half day, go to London, everyone's there at 2 o'clock. And I want to add as well that this was so dangerous. If something were to happen, like a fire or God forbid something worse, how the hell would we get out? I was also injured during this time as well, not really badly, but I basically got pushed back on the corner of the table and it hurt my hip. The second thing that went wrong was obviously the organisation. There was literally no staff member inside. I think I only saw a few staff members down the cafe because they were working in the cafe, and bless them too, they had no idea what was going on upstairs. They went, oh, is it busy? And I'm like, is it? But again, any other staff members? Nope. There was no signage apart from the ones at the front, but even getting to the front, there were literal queues down the road for people to try and get in. They thought it was the queue to actually get into the bookfest. It's not, it was the queue to get to level 1 stalls. And the stalls as well, people were getting trapped in there. People would be queuing up, going into the bit to do their little goodies and prizes, and then people were going in the middle to try and push in to queue jump. But it meant the people who were finished couldn't actually get out. They were literally stuck. I'm outside, right at the back of Piccadilly Waterstones, because that's the only way you could actually get out, because the rest of it is so fucking hectic. It wouldn't actually shock me if Waterstones don't do this again. Last year it was great, it was so organised, so planned. This year, what the fuck? There's people queue jumping, there's people shoving and pushing. There was one guy who knocked out a bunch of books. Instead of just putting it back normally, he threw it up in the air, so books were hitting people. So I got my book signed that I wanted, a tote bag, and I'm done. That's all I'm fucking doing.
People throwing books in the fucking air. People are fucking stupid, honestly. Okay, so things that publishers were giving away. Things like sweets, totes, bookmarks. I actually saw a TikTok of someone saying that they queued an hour and they only got a bookmark for that. So at least people didn't pay for the event, but still, people took the day off. People travelled from far away. People were looking forward to this. I actually did see a TikTok of someone came from like the Netherlands. Someone came over from like Barcelona for it. People have come up from up north, have come down for it. You know, getting time off, especially if you work in retail or an office, like, or anywhere really, getting time off is fucking hard. So Mia said the author signings were on the same fucking floor as the free stuff. Now, as someone who also loves free stuff, that floor would have been rammed. Plus, there's tons of authors signing their books. Anna Fentini, Annalise Avery, A.S. Webb, B. Fitzgerald, Becky Jane Crossley, Emma Lucy, Georgia Stone, Hazel McBride. She's one I see come up a lot on TikTok recently with her brand new book, movie, Fate, Fortune and Fire. And then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, over 10 author signings. And you've got an hour. That's it. So not only have you got that going on, you then got people queuing for the publisher stalls for the free stuff. So TikToker Nina also went to BookFest, also had a bad time, but I just want to skip to the part in her video where she talks about her experience and what was in the only one tote they managed to get. Sorry if the audio sounds strange, because I'll have to take out the audio that's in the background because it's a popular song, and I don't want to get copyright striked, so apologies.
But hey, from that one store, managed to get some good bits, and Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Swab. I think this tote was worth it a little bit, maybe. Yeah, I got a few bits, but none of it is... I literally did one game to win an ARC, and that was literally it. So I don't even know. I was just overwhelmed. I got a Tempest of Tea, the second one. I got a little fan to help in there. I got a tour, got a tour tote, some stickers. I got some prints and some maps. These are cool, I guess. The only thing that actually I was really excited for, because I love Olivia Blake, and I managed to get some character, like artwork, and I'm currently reading Gifted and Talented, so these two are Chef's Kiss, and then I just got some stickers, some more like kind of artwork and character sheets. Literally all this is from one stand. Yeah, I didn't even manage to get any got some stickers from Nightshade. Won some little Milky Way chocolates and another bit. What was that?
So apparently last year's BookFest opened at 10 a.m. I know I mentioned it a minute ago earlier. Panels were at 11, and then they had author signings from 2 p.m, which sounds like a much more kind of evenly paced and spread out day. I still worry about the overcrowding situation at events that aren't ticketed. So this is a TikTok of how last year went, and this looks lovely. I mean, if only it could have been the same this year.
Come to BookFest 2024 with me. BookFest is Waterstones' annual summer event where publishers, authors and readers come together in a day full of activities, signing and all sorts of bookish things. And of course you get to hang out with all your bookish friends. I attended the most exciting panels, starting off with a fantastical world building one, followed by Eleanor Amos. Can you tell I was fangirling the whole time? I thrive in talking and bonding with the authors, even most of the time I have no idea what I'm saying. I ended the day at the launch party of Lex Crouch's new book, Not for the Faint of Heart. They even had an axe throwing station. What a day! As always, until next time, BookFest.
Come with me to BookFest 2024 at Waterstones Piccadilly. I've been looking forward to this since last year's event, and if anything, it was even better. It was so much fun wandering around all of the different publishers' stands who had the most creative and beautiful tables set up. I found so many books to add to my TBR, and there were lots of free bookish goodies too. How beautiful is this Stephanie Garber art? She is honestly one of my all-time favourite authors. There were so many fun games to play, and there were some amazing prizes up for grabs, such as t-shirts, tote bags, bookmarks, artwork, and even some proof copies. I had far too much fun at the chessboard.
Once I make my move, you're free to take the king.
These Polaroids were such a lovely memory of the day. Loved the Swifty friendship bracelets, and I was so lucky to be able to grab a proof of Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen, which she signed too. I solved a riddle and won a copy of The Grandest Game, and there were even free sweet treats on the ground floor. I met some more wonderful authors who were signing copies of their books. All in all, it was just the most wonderful day, surrounded by books and by people who love books as much as I do.
See, that looked lovely. That looked orderly and not overly busy. Everyone got to do what they wanted to do there. Great time. So literally as I was about to film this, Waterstones have made a comment. a terrible fucking comment back about this. So it was actually on the BBC News. Waterstones apologises after readers' brand event utter chaos. So this is a response. Truly sorry to hear about any negative experiences. And they told the BBC that the safety of attendees was never at risk. They said that they would review and learn from this year to deliver much improved future events. But we've heard from many TikTokers that they have already expressed room for improvement over the last couple of years in a lot of different areas, and nothing has changed. In a further statement to the BBC, Waterstones added that an unexpectedly high turnout led to very long queues and some crowding around publisher tables and author signings. Both the central events team and the shop team were on hand throughout across the floors, and the safety of our customers was our top priority as always. We fully appreciate that this was an unusually busy event, which unfortunately may have caused some of our visitors to feel uncomfortable or distressed. I feel like some of that wording is really problematic. Like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Not like I'm sorry that we didn't do better. Like, that's a really shit reply. I'm sorry you feel like you had a negative experience. Like, gaslighting you into, I don't know, is that the word? There's a comment here on this TikTok from Waterstones. We appreciate your feedback. We want our customers to enjoy events in our bookshop, so we'll review and learn from this year to improve the future. But again, have you not had responses from people on how to improve and you haven't put it into place? Also, with the rise of TikTok, BookTok especially, the rise of like authors these days, everything is just getting bigger and bigger. I understand if you're not in the book world that you probably wouldn't see that happening, but as someone in the book world, as Waterstones, as a book fucking shop, should know that they're going to have an even bigger turnout this year. Surely. Are their marketing team or their events people not on social media? Maybe not. They need to get on it. So did any of you attend BookFest, or have you been before? I would love to start going to more events, but like good ones. Or maybe if I don't go to a good one, I can like document it for you all. There we go. We can have a good laugh, can't we, on here? Let me know your thoughts on the event. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.